guys, it's kind of a cloudy, cold day today. It was actually foggier earlier, and there's hardly anybody outside on the water, just a few boats. So it kind of made me in the mood to do some fall baking. So today I thought we'd make a banana Nutella muffin, and it's going to be jumbo size. So I've got my apron on, and let's go inside and make some of our delicious muffins. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do to get a couple things out of the way is we're going to preheat the oven at 425, and after we put the muffin pan into the oven, we're going to let the muffins bake for about 5 minutes or so, and then we're going to reduce the temperature down to 375 and let it bake for another 25 or so minutes. And the reason we want to do the first 5 minutes at 425 is we kind of want to get the muffins to rising and get them to move up fast. So that's what we're going to do first. All right, so now we're ready to go over the ingredients. First, we're going to be doing the dry. We need a half a cup of wheat flour, 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2½ teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and then we also need 2/3 cup of chopped walnuts. And now we're going to switch to the wet ingredients. So let's go over our wet ingredients. We need 1 large egg, 1 cup of yogurt, 1/3 cup of mashed bananas, 3/4 cup of brown sugar, 6 tablespoons of vegetable oil, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then we need Nutella. And it's going to be 2 teaspoons of Nutella for each jumbo size muffin. So let's get started with making the muffins. All right, so we're gonna first work on mixing our dry ingredients. It's really super easy. You just need a fork, and I usually like to give this a good whisk. You can see how this is. You just wanna make sure everything is distributed evenly. All right, this looks great. And then we're going to give a little bit of this into our walnuts. We're gonna add just a tad amount of flour mixture into the walnuts. That way when we are mixing this into the batter and it bakes, the walnuts more than likely get distributed more evenly in the muffin rather than sinking down to the bottom of the muffin. All right, so let's get started working on the wet ingredients. I have already added the vegetable oil and the vanilla to this. We are going to use a whisk to give this a good mix. You will notice that this is kind of lumpy, which is because of the mashed bananas. And when you work on mashing the bananas, you can use a fork. And you want the bananas to be very ripe because it's just so much easier to mash the bananas. So the riper the bananas, the better. Oh my God, this smells so good. I can smell the bananas. I can smell, you know, the combination of the brown sugar in the batter as well. It has a beautiful, wonderful smell. Oh, it's going to be a really delicious muffin. This looks great. So now we're going to combine the 2 ingredients. Do you see how quickly it is to do this? All right, so let's get started. Okay, so we're going to combine the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. We're going to use a spatula to mix this together. And we're going to add in the dry ingredients now. I can smell the cinnamon and the nutmeg as I'm putting this into the bowl. And just mix this around. You don't want to over mix muffin batter. Okay, so now we're going to add in finally the walnuts that's been coated with some of the flour mixture. All right, we're just going to give this a good gentle stir, and now we're ready to put the batter in our muffin pan. Okay, so I already greased and floured my pan here, but you can also use a cooking spray, or if you have muffin liners, you can certainly use that, but I'm kind of doing the old-fashioned way. This is the way my mother taught my brothers and I when we used to help her bake in our kitchen years ago. Okay, so I have my ice cream scoop, and we're ready to add in our first layer of muffin batter. Okay, so we just finished doing 1 layer of the banana batter in each of these, and now we're going to add in the Nutella. Okay, here is our yummy Nutella. So I usually just add in about, you know, a generous sized teaspoon of Nutella. It doesn't have to be precise for each of these. That'll be the first layer. right, now let's add in our final layer of the muffin batter here. And you want to fill this up to the rim of each of these cups here. So the final layer is the Nutella. So again, I use a generous amount of Nutella. So it's 1 teaspoon of Nutella for each. Next, we're going to give this a good Nutella swirl. So to give this a good swirl, you could use a fork, you could use a toothpick, or even a knitting needle. I tend to use a knitting needle because that's what we use in my house when we make æbleskiver as well. So I always have this on hand. And you just give it a good swirl. And you know, since we have it also in the center, it definitely will mix around in the batter. There we go. We just gave it a good Nutella swirl. All right, so we're ready to stick this into our preheated oven at 425. After 5 minutes, I'm going to reduce the temperature down to 375, and we're going to let it bake for another 25 more minutes. We will test it to see if it's coming out clean with either a toothpick or a knitting needle, and then we'll let it cool for about 10 minutes. And let's head on over to the oven. Okay guys, so I just took these out of the oven. These are perfect. I can't wait to try these. I'm gonna let these cool for about 10 minutes and then we'll be able to try one of these. Okay, so let's slice one open and see how it looks. It's gonna be so amazing, I know it. Yep, and see, you can see the Nutella inside of the muffin. On top we have the Nutella swirl. Inside it was swirled around in the batter as well, all the way, you can even see it went all the way down to the bottom. So it's mixed all the way through. We have the nuts as well. Look at all the gooey, yummy inside of that muffin. There was all that Nutella that was just sitting there. Oh my God. Okay guys, so I'm gonna say skål. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We do have the recipe on our blog as well, so be sure to check out our blog, and I look forward to seeing you next week, guys. Skål!